Broken down and defeated, deterred, busy and confused, sleeping. You're dying while I wait you to get started. On the journey chosen, wasted, no selected. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah, and crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah, and crush me in my smile. Sober, sad and jaded. They're not coming, they're broken down and defeated. You are dying while I wait you to get started. You are dying while I wait you to get started. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah. Crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah. Crush me in my smile.
I'm a motherfucking unicorn, a one-of-one. The vibe being the love and light, the enlightened one. My karma is interstellar, I live by truth. Fighting evil, my scars are living proof. Protecting you from the storms with all my might. Love me, I will treat you right. You ever cross me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. With my crown of thorns, I'll wreck you. I ain't playing, yo, Bryan hard, call me a saint. Too bad Chris, because Bigfoot knows my name. I'm a messenger of God, with loyalty I serve. Taking out all evil with his holy word. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand. Slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand. Slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Ta-da!
How you
How are
doing,
you
Bryan?
staying warm, Mark? It is cold throughout this entire continental United States.
Yeah,
It's
it
cold.
really is.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. Even FLA is getting into like 20s, and north is going to be, real cold. But
I think tomorrow night's close to negative double digits.
it's West Virginia. I know we got Paul in here, and those guys are just like Midwest. Forget it. It's a different type of blood in your system when you're in the Midwest. Because it is brutal. I mean, I can only imagine how bad it's going to be. We'll ask our guest tonight, on the show. But I'm getting ready. This is the show prior to me being at the conference. I'm going to add this to the stage. Let me add to the stage. I will be presenting at the Vanishing Paracon premiere, January 31st, Gardendale Civic Center in Gardendale, Alabama. I'm going to be talking about sightings and mutilations. It is going to be great. And if you have kids, viewer discretion is advised. There are going to be things in there your kid probably not going to want to see. But it's going to be interesting. You're going to learn something because I'm the only person that I'm aware of that has ever discussed what I'm going to discuss. I did it on UFO Witness Season 2. I'm not doing that for a pat in the back. But the only people I ever knew that discussed this was me and Butch Witowski, maybe one other. But nobody had the cojones to do it on online for the most part, or film it. And I did. I scared the crap out of Melissa Title when I was doing this on UFO Witness. She really was not happy about this, but they said, "Hey, how dark do you want to go?" And we went there. Producer was like, "Yes." So stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. But it's great to have all these people here.
Yeah, the rest of the lineup at the Vanished premiere.
Amazing. Yes, go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah, it just looks great.
I mean, there is a plethora. I'm trying to find everybody who's going to be there. What I keep finding is an image of Mark Eddy as a SpongeBob, and that's not going to be good. Because we did that once before, and I don't want to do that again.
Yeah,
yes.
Maybe the UFO will land in my backyard and whisk
that would
me
be
down
great,
there.
Right? Oh, there we go. Image 4180. Let me see if I can bring this up so everybody can see who's coming, because it literally is off the chart. The people that are going to be there. It's everybody is so amazing at what they do. There they are. So
Jessica's very. I've heard her on her show, and
alumni of Third Eye Live too.
She's very informative about cryptids.
Yeah, she's the real deal. I've been on her show. She's a friend. Trey Hudson's amazing. I knew Trey. I got to kind of speak because he was on another show, but I'm gonna actually meet him. Great guy, great investigator. Melissa Adair is amazing. Scott and Sheila Granger, great couple. Jim Powell's great. We just did something with him on. We did. I forgot what the show was promoting the Paracon. Jerry Millwood is amazing as well, and this Natalie Smearman is Natalie's going to kill me. She's going to be a guest coming up soon, so we got her on there. She's awesome, and a nice, wonderful friend. But she's really, really great. You guys got to go out, go to Eventbrite, get the tickets. It's like, what else are you going to do in the cold? Do something. Go out. There's going to be a ton of vendors. It's just going to be a fun time. So that's what I recommend. But our guest only has about an hour. But I also want to say something. Let me see if we can get this here. This is the ERT radio logo. ERRT, Earthling Radio. We are on Earth Radio. Season 1 is on Earth Radio. They're actually going even back. Hey, Filthy's here. Holy crap. The Canadians are coming. The Canadians are coming. Yeah. Oh, it was blondes. That's what I thought it was. Sorry, Paul. Paul, that's what I thought it was. My had a head cold. I'm just getting kind of over it if you hear me coughing or it was miserable. But yeah, we were talking about it. It was fun. But it's good to have Filthy here as well. We're gonna have to have him back on as like a co-host.
He's really busy with more great artwork.
He does some really good stuff. He has another book out, and we're going to talk about it. Stevie Spriggs, the man, the myth, the legend, my brother from a different mother is here. Miguel, our guest, I want to get you in touch with Stevie, and Stevie, I want to get you in touch with Miguel. So let's kind of bring our guest on. And he is a researcher and investigator, like in the field, no joke. Spends, a long time in the field with his trusty companion and puppy, and some other friends of ours on the show. And they go out quite often. And he's just one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And I was so thankful that when I went to the Crossing Roads concert, I knew of Miguel, and I knew the name, and I'm like, never put name and face together, because sometimes it's like that. There's so many different channels and researchers. And then I'm like, holy crap, he does an incredible job. And we're just going to bring him on. We'll get everybody involved and just start talking to him. So Miguel, welcome to Third Eye Live. Thank you for being on here, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm going to put you into the big square. I'm going to move up to where Mark is, and then we can go. This way you're the center of attention. From what I understand, this kind of messes up a way with the one of these clip generating things, but I don't care anymore. Yes, please hit that like button with the steel chair. That would be great. Don't break your computer. Miguel, we're going to get into how we like kind of like our introduction, kind of real weird way. But before this all started, can you give a little bit of bio about you, and where you're located and where what you're doing, or a little bit about you, and then we'll get into a little bit deeper, because we know you only have about an hour.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Miguel Ramirez. I'm from Missouri, and I run the channel called Sasquatch Theory. I do podcasts, in-person interviews, and research out in the field. Do you want me to start talking about my encounters? Yeah.
No, not yet. But what was really great and I just want to share let me just share some stuff here, because I want to share screen, and we're going to go to here. This is his YouTube, Sasquatch Theory. It is an amazing site. One of his latest drops, when he was in the woods, well, not 4 hours ago. It was maybe it was like a week ago. I forgot which one it was. These are not for the faint of heart. Miguel puts his heart and soul into this. These are like mini documentaries, and this is what I love about what you do, Miguel. You literally film every aspect of the investigation. From I don't want to say soup to nuts, because it's not an eating thing, but but what's really interesting is when you do an investigation, when you go out into the field, no matter if with you, I know you go with Adam sometimes and Shelby, Whited, who are on here, and hopefully I'm going to be seeing Adam and Brittany. Cross my fingers. This conference. Come on down, take a trip. Get out of the cold, but it's literally like you film everything.
Mm-hmm.
And no one else does it like you do it. And you edit nicely, and there's music. Like when I tell you these are like mini movies and they're great, you got to watch them. So how did this start? Where was your first Bigfoot encounter? Like, where you said, the hell with this, I'm going in the field?
Well, it's a long history of strange experiences and cryptid encounters. Do you want me to talk about that before I started having Bigfoot experiences? The things that I experienced that maybe aren't
Yeah,
Bigfoot?
let's do a little bit of that. So the brief history, and then get into the Bigfoot. This way it'll be easier. I'm just going to tell everybody, if you have questions for Miguel, put them in caps, but I'm going to type that anyhow.
Okay, for sure. And I feel like it's important to talk about this, especially with you, because you're someone who would totally understand. But one of my first strange experiences, I was probably about 12 years old. I was sitting at my parents' home watching Family Guy on Cartoon Network, and I was on my desktop computer, and I think I was on AOL or MySpace. I don't know what people used back then, but some sort of chat. And I had the window open because it was during the summertime. It was extremely hot, and back then we used like box fans and an AC unit in the window. But I was just sitting there doing my thing, and it was probably around 9 p.m. or so, and I heard this awful, guttural, monstrous, demonic vocalization that sounded like a werewolf howl, and it lasted like, I would say, 8 seconds, give or take, just this loud, oh. But I mean, it sounded like somebody played it through a ginormous PA system at a professional concert, and it came right there from the wood line. And as soon as this howl tapered off, it sounded like a woman screamed super loud, and the scream was mixed with like a T-Rex roar. I'm not sure how to describe that, but my first thought was, it's a monster. I had no idea what it was. I thought maybe my brother was out there in the woods playing a prank on me, but later on I learned about Dogman, and that's totally what it was. There's no animal in Missouri that would make a vocalization like that, and it was a werewolf. Like, it sounded so powerful. I can't even describe it in words how it sounded like, and it would cripple any person that heard this sounded. And when I heard it, I slammed the window shut. I got in my bed, put the cover over me, and waited till morning time. Like, I fell asleep and woke up in the morning. I asked my family, did you guys hear that last night? And they're like, hear what? They didn't hear it. I don't know how, but it was freaky.
Yeah, I'm just going to play, and this is just a vocalization, but I've actually heard something very similar to this in the woods, and just I can imagine what you were thinking. So hopefully it plays. It's that's just one type of vocalization. And
Do
go ahead, Mark.
do you know what the animal was trying to communicate? Is there a context? Does sense a threat? Just wanting to let others know, hey, I'm over here by the sycamore tree. Come over and let's hang out for the evening. What is there a way to interpret that sound?
I'm not sure if it was communicating with other members, or I don't know. Here are my thoughts. My mom used to go out there and she'd take the scraps from dinner and dump them right there at the edge of the wood line. That's exactly where it was at. But also, I heard 2 distinct vocalizations, the werewolf howl and the scream. And I've thought about it over and over for many years. And I don't know if it was just one creature or if this Dogman like encountered a Bigfoot, because I've heard the Sasquatch scream and it sounded exactly like that scream. So I don't know if it was like a confrontation or if it was just one single creature that howled and it turned into like a woman screaming. I don't know really.
I mean, I think it's vocalizations are used on multiple different levels for multiple different things. And I think depending on the intensity there's a huge difference when something is like, like angry versus just it's just so overpowering. Either
Yeah.
way, it doesn't matter if it's a Bigfoot or a Dogman, it reverberates off your chest. It is that loud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is like I matter of fact, most people that have been in the field that wanted to see this and like, hey, I'm gonna go do this and whatever. Um, so we got a question from Stevie. How far is the wood line from the house?
I would say about 40 yards.
That's a
That's
tad big
close.
host. Well,
Yeah.
it's really interesting. A nice, great question, Steve. When you start doing things like scraps, whatever animal, no matter what it is or whatever thing it is, kind of gets used to it. And if that stops, there's going to be problems. Usually, they get lazy. That's why it's never good to, in my opinion, don't gift food. Get the food aspect of, use cat toys and stupid things, little gifts, because you don't want them associating stuff with food. I'll give you a great example. Up in Connecticut, there was a property that had natural strawberries growing on it. Have you ever had wild strawberries, folks? Freaking awesome. I mean, like literally, you just pick them off and you eat it. They're delicious. And there's a Bigfoot in the area, and he would go by, eat the strawberries. Well, somebody else bought that property, and the house next to it. And these people decided, oh, we don't want that crap. And then they got rid of the strawberries. And you want to talk about pissed off? That thing came and slapped its hand against the house so hard, several times. It was pissed. What did you do to the strawberries? Because it was expecting them, and it's a food source. It's their shopping. And the guy can't, like, what the hell's going on? He had no idea what hit it. But it's Bigfoot. I mean, you're messing with their food. If you have a brother or a sister, remember those good meals. And what the older one did to the younger one, like, hey, what's that? And steal some fries or whatever. You get pissed off, especially if you're, looking for food. But, yeah, so you started off with a Dogman incident.
That's what it was. And I never knew until later on. I had my Bigfoot encounters, and the Bigfoot encounters actually happened in the same exact area where I heard the Dogman.
Well, I think we may have had a discussion about this, but we'll get into that in a second. And why not? I'm gonna give the questions as they come, because we'll just go back and forth. So Bigfoot Fades, gotta go. You should go on her show. I'll introduce you guys to each other. Even though she's more Oregon based. She says, I have a question. How can we support Miguel to get a new thermal drone? Yeah, I saw that shit with your drone, and that I'm dealing with that with my car right now. And it's not a thermal drone, it's a fucking transmission. Pardon the French. Fuck you, Hyundai. So is there a way to help you out, or do you do it GoFundMe, or maybe we can get you like another sponsor? That would be great.
Just watching the videos. I mean, that's the only thing people need to do.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean that she's a sweetheart. She's really talented in what she does. She has her own.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, trust me, you guys are like two peas in the pod, except one man and one woman. No, you're really good people. Like, so I'm gonna tell you what happened when I first met Miguel. Right, I roll up. It is raining, and we're in Missouri, and this is pre-conference. And I go out to this ranch, and this is where it's going to be. There's a bunkhouse and whatever. I've never been there before, and I'm following the directions, and it says some of these roads are closed, and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get there? So I go, and then it takes me off of. And by the way, one of the worst storms I've ever been in my life, and it's a typical day in the Midwest. I mean, literally. Greenish skies. I'm like, we were like borderline, in my opinion. You could have had a tornado at one point. the winds were real strong. So I get over the area by Lexington, I cut through, and I get to the back road, and I'm driving up, and I'm like, where the hell am I going? They're going to kill me, right? They're going to sacrifice the fat guy. And they're like, hey, we'll sacrifice the fat guy. He's new. Send him off. So we go up, and it's a ranch. It's an actual ranch. I mean, there's horses. There's a lot of RVs. So I guess they open that up for other people to live in. Makes a little bit of money here and there. And then I pull up in front of the bunkhouse area, which is kind of cool. That's where it's going on. And I walk in, and then I see everybody, giving hugs, and it's, hug here, hug there, high fives. I meet Adam and Shelby, initially, and and then I think I see you, or you were doing something like I think you rolled up after. I don't know where your car was at the time, but then we went inside, and then everybody introduced everybody. I'm like, oh, this is, Miguel Ramirez. I'm like, oh shit. I know the name now. I'm not going to play like, duh. Like I knew you. I didn't know you, but I knew. And he's like, oh, Sasquatch theory. I'm like, holy shit. People only dream of what you have obtained as far as numbers are concerned in this crazy world. I mean, you have a lot of people that support you and watch, and it's worth it. Go subscribe to Sasquatch theory. And there's other people in here you can subscribe to too as well. But so we're in there, and it's kind of like, you walk in, and then it opens up, and it's a big open area. There's bunkhouses, and then the back door is open, and it's still raining. And I walked over to the back because I was going to smoke a cigarette, and I think Krista was there. And at that back door, you kind of see, I don't know how many yards, you see a road. And then, you kind of see, I guess you're higher up, but you can see down, there's water in the distance, right? And then there's a tree line about, I would say the tree line's what, 175 yards? I mean, close, something like that. And we're just hanging out there. I'm on the right side, little lightning bolt because it was stopping to rain. You were on the left with Krista because I guess you guys were talking about something that happened previously there. And the next thing you hear, literally by that tree line, is a Dogman howl that's, like it's your atypical Dogman howl. And I literally stopped, and I kind of slowly turned, and I looked over to where Krista was, and you did the same thing. You looked at me, and we just acknowledged, like, I think we said it together, like, Dogman. It was just insane that it was there. It was close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can vouch for that. I was there. That totally happened. And I want to tell my part of the story because I feel like it's significant. So I'm going through that horrible storm, and I can barely see. I got like 25 cars behind me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even see the lines on the highway. But finally I get out of it, and I get on that county road, and I go around this sharp 90-degree turn before I get to the ranch in a cornfield. And I kid you not, I get this feeling, like this gut feeling, like, man, I bet someone's seen a Dogman here. And I get up to the ranch, and I say hi to everyone. I'm talking to Krista, and I was like, yeah, as I was driving up here, that'd be the perfect place to see a Dogman. And Krista goes, well, actually, Tom or somebody has actually seen a Dogman right there where you were talking about. Mm-hmm. She's like, so that's weird that you said that. And then later on, we're standing in front of the building, and Krista introduced me to you, and we're standing there just like you said, Bryan, Krista, Miguel, and we hear out in the woods. Oh, yeah. It was not a coyote. It was definitely something. It was just weird. And Bryan looks over at me like, did that really just happen? And yeah, I mean, it really did. Yeah.
You couldn't time it more perfectly for a conference that had cryptid people there. Cause like, I was happy. I'm like, holy crap, we're going to get a Dogman right now. That was great. And then you're there, and I'm like, I didn't even know that you said this place would be great for, like a Dogman or whatever encounter. I think she said at one point, you saw something, or it's the way she said it, it sounded like you saw something there a year before, or you guys came out there one other time.
Krista did. I didn't. That was my first time ever going there.
Oh, okay. That was my first time ever being in Missouri.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to Missouri.
yeah, I wish Krista, but was here because she could reiterate. But she said they were on the property, and then they saw a Dogman or something like that in the distance or near there. Actually, it may have been in the same area in that back where we were.
Yeah, it was.
And dude, it was so awesome. It was beyond belief. It was totally unexpected. It's almost like, but I have a feeling some of these cryptids know who we are as individuals, that we're not there to really hurt them or harm them. We have more questions than, not going to do something. So they're kind of like, yo, what's up, Miguel? Bryan,
yeah, you were just telling me your Dogman encounters right before we heard that howl, and I was like, what the heck? It's almost like they imprinted on you or they follow you around. I don't know.
I don't know if they're picking up on our consciousness, but I mean, it's the same thing with Bigfoot. Steve, when I went out there, I've been to a couple of places and I know we're being watched. I've seen, like, as we're walking down these long paths, like miles, in the woods. It's really weird how it looks. Like, you can kind of see at the peripheral of your eye, you see something moving, shadowing you, kind of like an animal would do or a cougar would do, like big cat. But when you look, you just catch this brownish big leg, and it kind of goes behind a tree, and then it doesn't come out. And you're like, yeah, we're being watched. They know we're here. We're being watched. And yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, Miguel, I just had a question based on something you just said. You were talking about there's the 90-degree bend in the road by the cornfield. Is there something in the landscape? Probably the 90-degree turn is going around something, or the cornfield might be a very productive cornfield because of the types of soil, or somehow being related to geology. Are these Dogman or Bigfoot, the other cryptids, somehow aware of some of these geological features that attracts them?
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed when I was there, the soil was very rich. They had the crops, and there was all kinds of turkeys, huge toms with long beards. And in the ranch, they had all kinds of deer horns, antlers, and they actually did manage hunts there where you could pay money and you can go out hunting for a huge, giant trophy buck. But also, geologically speaking, the ranch sits on top of a huge ridge that overlooks, I believe it's the Missouri River, and the Missouri and the Mississippi River have all kinds of Dogman sightings. So these things seem to follow the waterways, and there seems to be some sort of energy anomaly tied into the water.
Yeah, I mean, a great question, Mark, about the geology, because I do believe if you dig deeper, if we really looked into it, which I did not, because I wasn't on, like, I'm going on an investigation mode where I would be searching the area, doing into the mineral searches, the magnetic field search. I mean, there's a variety of different things there, but you can attest to it. There's a lot of cave systems in Missouri. They love the cave systems. That's a great way to come in and out and hide, and kind of like a trap your source of food. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of quartz along the area as well. And quartz, I think we've had this discussion before. Quartz, they use it in watches as a battery. It stores energy. It can also you can pull energy from it. And, they've been used this for manipulation purposes, in my opinion. But from my own personal experience, I'm speaking. So,
yeah. Yeah, Missouri is known as the cave state, and there's certainly a lot of quartz, a lot of crystal quartz, and like you said, batteries operate off of crystal quartz, and it's endless energy. You never have to change the battery.
Right. And with the fact that you knew about the ranch, what they do there, there's going to be like a ton of scrap. If they're cleaning the animal,
Yeah,
there's going to
there
be
was
some
a deer
blood.
head around the side of the ranch. Remember that? Somebody had
Yeah.
killed the deer. Mm-hmm.
And so you get this as like, well, I'm going to go get free food. So it may be there. Maybe if you ask, I don't know, I didn't interview the owners or know the full details about them, but they may very well be aware that there is something out there, and the best way to do it is just leave them a little bit of something. They'll take the guts and the ass end of something, and then we can get rid of the main carcass or whatever it is. But we have a question. Go ahead.
I was going to say they definitely dumped the guts somewhere because the deer head was right there. It was fresh. It still had the skin, and somebody had luck out there.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, not everybody's going to eat a full deer. They do have a lot of people that do sleep out there and campers. So maybe they pool their deer, the meat and use it, on so many times. But I'm sure they throw the rest of it away, and you can't do anything much with it. It's
honestly, I have not talked about that werewolf howl that we heard, the Dogman howl out at the ranch on my channel because I'm like, nobody's gonna believe this shit. Like I always say, I hear a wood knock, I heard this, I found that, something happened. It's like no one's gonna believe that. But I'm glad you mentioned it. And anytime you tell that story, if someone doesn't believe you, you call me and I'll definitely.
No, you were there and Krista was there, and that was the coolest thing in the world. Now, I was telling you before we came on, we'll get to your question in 2 seconds, Paul. Before Miguel came on, they did an investigation at the museum, Ray County Museum. Fantastic place. Go out there. Wonderful. Support them. Go do it. It was at night. So we left. It was after the conference. People went to town. They went to I forgot the name of the steak place. And in the parking lot, they were having a class reunion of something like 92, like class of 90, whatever. I forgot what it was. So I was just going to join in. They had a band in the parking lot. It was loud and it was cool. And then after that, we were going back to the museum for the night hunt. I don't do that. I don't need to do it. I walk through the museum. I know what's going on there. So when I got in, I didn't go through the front. I went through the back. Heard somebody talking in the back door. So I walked through the back door. And what's really weird is when you get off that one road, where you have to kind of make a right to go up a hill and then make a left, you're hit with, I don't know if it's winter wheat or something, these fields they have in Missouri. They're beautiful. Like a little bit of greens and golds, and it's tall. And I'm like, that would be a great place because that would be like a spot where the Dogman would totally prosper in, or Bigfoot, because the height is so high that they can kind of like get down. You're not going to see them coming. I parked the car, went out to the back, and I think Krista was on the phone with somebody, sat there smoking a cigarette, and I went in for a minute after while she was on the phone, hanging out, came back out, and no one was there. And you could hear the party going on in the town. And the next thing I know, I heard a vocalization of a Dogman. And I know what the vocalization is. It wasn't like, like a fake howl. It was, holy crap. Now, you know how loud these things are. I'm not implying that it was actually right there at the museum, but it could have been close, but it also could have been in a distance and just radiating. That's how powerful these things are. I mean, and it could have been complaining about the noise. I'm trying to sleep here, or I'm trying to do something here, and you guys are, what the hell's all that music? Don't make me come down there. So, but Paul said, here's his question. Miguel, what about the areas around the Merrimack River here in Missouri? Is it in that relation to Dogman or Bigfoot or both? Paul, if you can get in the chat, let me see. So
is he asking me the question?
Yep, he's asking you the question.
Well, the Dogman howl that I heard when I was 12 years old, that property is like 5 minutes away from the Merrimack River, and all my Bigfoot encounters and experiences, or most of them, are around the Merrimack River. So yeah, they're definitely active on the Merrimack.
Yeah, I mean, there must be tons of fishing in there, you know. I mean, I saw a ton of deer, so I know that they have other animals that probably migrate through there. I mean, if you're a dogman in that area and you're a Bigfoot in that, you're the main predator. I don't care what size your bears are. I think you're the main predator of that whole thing. But so you have that thing. When did you decide to say, "Hey, I'm going to go out and investigate this"?
Okay, so I started having strange experiences down at the river. I got screamed at one day. They pushed over a tree, and then they followed me home 5 minutes away from that area. I'm kind of breaking down all these experiences, but what I did at the river was I did some Bigfoot calls that I heard on Finding Bigfoot, and they pushed over a huge tree and then screamed at me. Sounded exactly like that scream that I heard where the Dogman howled, and then I heard that scream sounded just like that, like a huge T-Rex, just. I mean, it was ginormous. You could tell it was like 9 foot off the ground, had huge lungs. But anyways, they followed me home. I lived like 5 minutes away from that area that I was camping at. And this is later on. I'm breaking down all these experiences and putting them all back to back. But I did that same call that I heard on Finding Bigfoot, the same one that I did at the river, and got a reaction from the Bigfoot. And it sounded like a bulldozer was crushing through the woods, just trees and limbs popping and snapping and cracking. And it was like zigzagging its way towards me through the wood line. And it stopped right at the edge of the wood line. It was almost dark, and everything just got dead silent. And I began to have strange experiences on that property as far as paranormal stuff happening inside the house, seeing orbs floating around the house, and they just zip off into space, which was really weird. I don't know if that's connected with the Bigfoot activity, but I'd like to think it was, because who else is having paranormal activity, UFO activity, and Bigfoot activity? It could have been a coincidence, but in my mind, I'm like, no one else is experiencing this level of supernatural activity.
Doesn't Stan Gordon link like the orbs and Bigfoot sightings, UFOs? I believe that's in his Stan's latest book. If I'm wrong about that, correct me. But I don't. I think you have at least a prominent name supporting what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like the same activity has taken place on the Skinwalker Ranch and many other areas around the United States, or all over the world for that matter. And later on, I moved away from that property, had so many strange paranormal experiences, moved back to where I originally grew up at on my family's property. And one day I heard these whistles. They triangulated around me, loud, sharp whistles. And one whistle almost sounded dual toned. It was like super high pitched, super loud, and then it was like it had like a mid tone and a low tone to it, almost like if you whistled inside of a pumpkin, like a pumpkin. That's what it sounded like. But there was 3 of them back to back. It's like they were watching me. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like meth heads out in the woods or something paranormal happening. And I went back about an hour later because I couldn't shake off the whistles. I was like, somebody's up there. So I went back up the driveway. This whole area is forested, and I saw these 2 orange orbs floating through the woods. I mean, this is dense woods because this was like in May, and the orbs were probably like the size of a volleyball or a basketball, and they seemed intelligent, and they were slowly moving through the woods. I felt like it was somebody with cell phones or lanterns walking through the woods, but I got this dark feeling that said, do not follow those orbs. I don't know what it was. It was just a gut feeling.
I think that was a really good idea. So I say it all the time. I was flesh and blood on Bigfoot at one point until I had an experience, and it changed everything. And if it falls into the category where I am, I believe it has an innate ability to go from flesh and blood into interdimensional, and there's an area in between, and it uses energy in the conversion process, because in order to convert from one form of energy to another, you have to use a tremendous amount of energy. That's why your batteries are drained. It's easy to do it on your batteries, your camera, your drones, and whatever. And that's why they need a lot of quartz, because they suck it out of that, naturally absorbs the free energy that's there. Tesla talked about 369. So in the process, I don't think there's UFOs technically involved with these cryptids. I think that what you're seeing is they're becoming an electronic form before they go interdimensional and subatom, and those are the orbs. And some of them are small, and some of them are, like you said, pumpkin size, basketball size, and they can, at that stage, they are vibrating at such a high frequency, they kind of can come into your house and look at you, and you're not going to freak out. Like, what the hell is that? You see like a bubble come in your house, like, what the, you're not going to freak out by it, but they're kind of checking you out. And I think that's what was taking place. I think that's the connection. Now, don't get me wrong. There are extraterrestrial beings reported. If you know the right people, it's not going to be in the New York Times or any of that other stuff. I've been in this a long time. I know a lot of people. They know people, whatever. But there are species that look like Bigfoot. They look like werewolves. There's the ones that look like Chewbacca. There's ones that look like Ewoks. I mean, it's not a joke. There's a variety of different species out there, but UFOs are abducting anything that's not them. So if they see something like, what the hell is that? How come it's doing what we do? Pull it in. And they pull it in and they do their experiments on it. And then Bigfoot or the Dogman walk off the craft, rubbing their ass, going, what the hell just happened?
Right.
And
No,
just like Noah's Ark.
Kind of like Noah's Ark, if you really want to get into the other end of that. Yeah. So I think there is a connection there. And I think when you see the those lights and the distant some of the colors, it's in the process of changing or going to change into a physical being, but it's a great way to get as close as they want to you without getting caught.
Yeah.
And in one of the videos, go ahead.
So I was going to say, I've been taking reports for a long time, and I've never had anyone say, yep, I watched the UFO stuff Bigfoot up into the shit. But I have noticed people say, like, I've encountered Bigfoot, and when I was a kid, I seen an alien. I don't think it's connected, but I think it's important to share. Like, you've had several strange experiences throughout your life. Is it connected to Bigfoot? Probably not, but it's worth sharing. Don't hold it in. Get it off your chest.
Well, exactly the point. You see, this is just my 2 cents. There's so many people that are in their camps, like Flesh and Blood, woo, or whatever you want to call it. If you truly want to research and be an investigator and researcher of it, even the far-fetched stuff you have to put into your book and say, this is what I think, this is what has been reported, these are the crazy people, and then write it down. Don't just discredit it or don't look at it, because you're you may have an encounter or an experience and holy shit, hold on, that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I prefer this to be an undiscovered primate. Like, that just sounds so much cooler. It'd be way more exciting, but I experienced supernatural and I can't go back. And I feel like my channel would do so much better if I just played it off like it was this undiscovered primate, but there's more to it. There's definitely supernatural things happening alongside with the Sasquatch. And after I seen those orbs float off in the woods, by this point it's pitch black. I'm walking back home, and when I get halfway down this forested driveway, it's at a dead end road, like we're the last house on the road. Nobody lives out there. I hear this thump, just this loud boom, like somebody picked up a big sandbag and just dropped it on the ground, or like a huge log. And then it sounded like something was just charging at me. And when it charged, it did 3 whoops, like a whoop, 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 just like the Sierra sounds. And I just stood there. The hairs on the back of my neck just stood up, and it was just a screwed up feeling. So I walked back home, and I didn't know what it was, but I was like, there's definitely somebody out there. And in the woods. So I continued going out in the forest. This was 3 weeks after the orb and the whistle incident. And I was out there picking mushrooms. And this was in June of 2019. And I'm going through the forest. I'm finding all kind of chanterelle mushrooms. It's an edible mushroom that you can cook up with food. And
Delicious,
I found a ton. I found a ton of them. But when I was coming back home, I thought I heard something in the woods. It sounded just like a little squirrel or a bird bouncing around on the forest floor. So I stopped and I looked. There was nothing there. But at this point, I'm kind of paranoid because I'm like, who's out there in the woods? And I took a few more steps and I heard that same sound again. I'm like, okay, I heard something. And when I looked, this jet black Sasquatch was crouched down and he stood up and just started walking. And this thing was jet black, about anywhere from 6 to 8 foot tall, had a round head, almond coal black eyes. I mean, jet black eyes. He had a flat nose, long, thin lips. And I remember his hair was only like 2 or 3 inches long, maybe anywhere like 2 to 4 inches long. And around his face, it was kind of like a charcoal silver gray color, but he looked ancient, like old leathered skin, kind of like an old Native American chief. And he looked pissed off, like he didn't look happy. And I remember on his back, like from the shoulder blades down to above his butt, he had like these white stripes, 2 of them going down each side of his back. And it was kind of like the shape of like a lightning bolt. And they were this grayish white silver color. But he just walked off and he looked over at me a few times. It was just like the Patterson Gimlin footage, but picture the creature that I just mentioned as far as the details. But he looked over his shoulder a few times at me, and I guess to see if I was going to follow him, if I had a gun. But when he walked through the Missouri forest floor, he did not make a sound. And when you're walking on oak leaves and twigs, it's just crunch, crunch, crunch. It sounds like you're walking on cornflakes. He did not make a sound. It was dead silent when he walked. So he walked through the oak trees and disappeared into the cedar trees. And I was like, holy crap. Because when I was standing there, like, I was in shock. Like, I couldn't even move. Like, I was just like concrete. Like, my shoes were stuck to the ground. And it felt like my thoughts, like somebody put a vacuum cleaner up to my head and sucked all the thoughts out. Because I couldn't do anything. Like, I was in shock. But as soon as he disappeared, I was like back in my body. Like, holy crap, I just saw Bigfoot. Did I really see that? So I just took off running, not directly towards him, but back towards the house. And he was going towards the creek. So when I got to the house, I cut back into the woods in the direction that I knew he was going. And I stepped over this old barbed wire fence and I stood there. Everything was dead quiet. And before I could take another step, I heard sound like a huge caveman, almost like a big horse exhaling. Like when a horse exhales, you can feel like how big their lungs are. That's what it was. He knew I was following him. I couldn't see him, but somehow he knew I was there, and he was pissed off about it. So I took like a step back, got back over the fence, and walked back home. I took my butt back home, and I didn't want to pursue him. When you hear it, like, it's one thing seeing it, but for some reason hearing it just makes it way more concrete because you can feel it.
You feel it. You feel it in your body. It's kind of hard to describe, and I always call them depends moments because we call it you want to have depends on because it gets pretty hairy sometimes. I mean, you don't know what you're getting, and I don't know. I don't believe extraterrestrials are our friends. They're our buddies. I don't believe these cryptids are our friends and buddies. They are what they are, and they're going to do what they do. And we truly don't know it. Some of them, I believe you can tell what kind of person you are because of your energy, your own energy, and they could read you like, oh, this guy's not, whatever. I'm going to try to, this guy's not a bad guy. That one's dangerous. I'm going to stay away from that one because they have a vibe about them or whatever. But I think sometimes when they do that, they're doing like they're warning you, but they're also testing you. So let's see how much you got going, kid. And when you backed away after that, which be honest, I think everybody would, there would be people screaming like, "Let's go, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car." I mean, I took two friends. They wanted to see Bigfoot, and they ran into a Dogman, and they still don't talk to me. I mean, like, blood went out of their face, white as ghost, going, "No, I want to go home now. I want to go home now." That's all they kept saying. "I want to go home now." Like, it was post-traumatic stress syndrome, and I get that, because your brain's not comprehending, like, this should not exist. This is fantasy, but it's not. He's just, Miguel just told you. I like lightning bolts on him. Did you give him a name, or did you get a name for him?
No, I never named him. I did name the juvenile that I encountered 3 weeks after that sighting that I just told you about.
I would have called him Lightning McQuaid. What are you saying, Mark? Sorry.
Yeah,
Silverback.
I thought the description of the stripes was very interesting. Was that natural hair, or was it something cultural that might have been painted on him, because you described him looking like maybe more like a native. His face looked more like a native chief. Did you get enough of a look to see?
Yeah. It was only 30 yards away, and it was definitely hair, and it could have been similar to like how gorillas, there's like the silverback gorilla, or it could have been scars on his back, like huge scars.
Okay.
But also, I've theorized that, okay, so this was in June. Perhaps they turned white in the wintertime, like he's starting to get some white hair, but I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Right.
Interesting.
Mark himself is a silverback. I'm not. I'm joking.
I have
juvenile.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do a video with how I braid my back hair.
I have a video for that. I just posted something else with him. We're just swapping faces on things. We're trying to drum up like people subscribing, so we just do some weird, really weird videos, but we're fun. Like, we want to make it entertaining as well. It's informative, and like yourself, like you do Sasquatch Theory. You have SoundCloud, you got Twitter X, you got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and the website, of course, which is Sasquatch Theory. We'll throw that back up there. But Bigfoot Fades asked a question, and I don't know what this is reference to, but what does Miguel think that animal was that jumped in the road and ate the possum? It had a mane like a lion.
Yeah, so this story, we're going back in time, back in my high school days. Me and my buddy Bruce, we went out road tripping. We'd do that often after school because we hated school. And we were going towards the Merrimack River, and we were going down a state highway. I think it was Highway K or Highway KK. And it's a huge hill, goes down to a bottom, and it was almost nighttime. My buddy, he sees this possum all the way down at the hill, and he steps on the gas. He drove like a Crown Vic police intercept car, and like he was going like 70 miles an hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? He's gonna hit this possum. What an idiot! Like, what a freaking idiot! And as we're getting down the hill, this giant canine creature leaps out of the forest. I mean, this thing's not as big as a horse. I want to say bigger than like a mature whitetail buck. Like, he was definitely huge. He leaped out of the forest, grabbed this possum, shook it around like a rag doll, threw it up in the air, and then tore back off in the woods. But this creature, it had the head of a hyena, and it was like the color of a blue pit bull. And it had like a big snout. I mean, similar to like a hybrid hyena and German Shepherd, but around its neck, it had like this mane, like almost like a
lion.
I don't know, like a lion. Yeah, the hair was much longer around the neck. It had a huge front chest, huge build. I mean, it was ripped. And the back legs kind of tapered off, kind of like, I guess, like a lion or like a chihuahua. I don't know. It was very awkward. And yeah, I don't know what it was, but my buddy Bruce hit the brakes and he was like, whoa. Like, did you see that? He's like, yeah. What was that? I don't know. But I asked Bruce years later. It was years later. I asked him, "Do you remember that canine that we saw on the highway by the Merrimack River?" And he goes, "No, I don't remember that." Which blew my mind. He's either lying or he truly doesn't remember. But I think it was a hellhound because I've seen pictures of them, and I'm like, dude, that's that thing I saw by the river. I never knew that was a cryptid. I just thought someone's dog got loose and bred with some wild dog out in the forest and created like Cujo or something.
Yeah, I think there's, when they get into like Dogman sightings and stuff like that, I had a theory that I proposed at a conference about the Bigfoot bloodline versus, the defective Bigfoot bloodline, and defects beget more defects. Because there's 7 variations, according to some people on the Dogman side of it. But I think what happens is, I don't think they're actually seeing a Dogman as much as they're seeing some other cryptid that is maybe hanging out with said Dogman or whatever. But there's some Dogmen that are on the what do you call it side? There's on the monkey or primate side versus the canine side. And it's not unheard of that some of these animals interbreeding can interbreed, especially if there's defects within the genetic code. It's a long shot, but I mean, we're talking about mystical beasts to begin with. So, bear with me on that. But the hellhound thing is interesting. What do you think of everybody using the new thing is werewolves? Everybody's like, oh, they're seeing werewolves.
I thought that was the old thing. I thought that's what they used to call Dogman.
That's what. Well, yeah. I mean, I think of a werewolf as something that's transforming. The only thing I know of that transforms is from man to beast would be it's a native legend, and most people don't like when you talk about it. But there's a ranch that's named it Skinwalker Ranch. So we're talking about skinwalkers. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen private video from a Navajo Rangers of a guy being trapped, and there's nothing on the freaking hill, and this human being turned into a dog. And I've
heard that before too.
I saw it. They have him trapped. They're kind of closing in on him. There's nowhere to go. He's behind a rock in the center. There's a little bit way up, and then you can probably like 15 feet, and the guy's down in the rock, and then next thing you know, this huge freaking black wolf comes out. It comes out. It goes up the hill like it's nothing. Goes through the hole, then turns around, comes back, looks at him like giving him the finger almost, and then he takes off. And then no cameras were shut off. It's still sequenced. And they go, that guy turned into, it was right in front of their faces. And they talk about this all the time. I don't believe the Dogman is that. And I don't believe Bigfoot is. I don't get into the religious end of it. I don't believe they're demons. Okay. I don't go there because there are angels, there's demons, then there are other evil entities, or the classify evil, looking to ruin the soul of man. There's things that have been here before God said, let there be light. That's on that side. But good Jesus. That would have been interesting to see live.
Oh yeah, it was huge. It was massive.
So Bigfoot Fades donated to Miguel and hopes he gets a new drone soon. So do I.
I saw it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Very blessed.
What's great about when you watch Miguel and Sasquatch Theory, he discusses every piece of equipment he brings with him, including the dog, his buddy. Which is, and that is a piece of equipment. Your pet becomes a piece of equipment. Very brave of the dog to, you know, in the video I saw where you were sitting there, he was on. He would look. A lot of dogs, when they come up against these things, they're like, "I'm out. Let me go."
Mhm.
Like, they'll pull you the other way. They
Yeah.
know it's coming. They don't want to be there.
Yeah, he's
So
pretty brave.
right. I mean, and I got to thank Miguel as well because there's a piece of equipment he was talking about, his new cot. This is sick, Stevie. You got to see this thing. I'll send it to you. From Cabela's, right? I think it is.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's awesome. It's a cot that goes into a chair. It's genius.
Hmm.
I mean, you when you're camping, you're like on the verge of glamping, but you're not.
Yeah, borderline. Till
Yeah.
Bigfoot shows up and it drops down below 30.
Well, yeah, like, I have a feeling like you're not going out as much as you'd like to, but so
Hmm.
we're getting close to the hour, and I don't want to keep you forever. Definitely want to go out and investigate with you. That would be a ton of fun. But what moments? I mean, like, if you could review, just like, let's go with 3 because it's a good number. 3 moments that either scared the hell out of you or just blew your mind
Hmm.
recently, and in
3
relationship,
moments recently.
3 moments recently.
Um, well, I was at the killing fields just for the day. There were some friends there. I was only going to stay a few hours, and I heard 2 different Sasquatch creatures vocalize, and me and this nurse, she's like 22 years old, she heard it. Like, we both looked at each other and it's like, oh my God, what was that? The other people that were there were older, they have older ears than us, they didn't hear it, but dang, it was monstrous, like pretty wild. um Sasquatch started doing wood knocks when I camped on Christmas Eve, the video that you're referring to. I mean, they were
Yeah, that
smashing
was
our
it.
tree, and I was like, who the hell is working outside right now? And then it hit me like, those are wood knocks. And as soon as I thought that, a huge tree came crashing down. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool. And then recently at the killing fields, I camped out there. I saw these eyes. I don't know what they were. I lit them up with the flashlight, but I don't know if it was a deer or coyote. I definitely wasn't an owl because you could hear footsteps in the leaves. Like, owls don't walk on the
yeah.
ground, and they're not 8 feet up in the air at the same time.
Do, Miguel,
Oh,
with
yes. Go
with
ahead.
your experiences with Dogman, Bigfoot, we've also been able to throw in werewolves. Have these experiences helped you to have a uh, uh, greater appreciation or understanding of uh, more animals?
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate nature and wildlife a lot
Mhm.
more, and also the Native Americans, because they told these stories for many generations, which I thought it was like mythology, kind of like Greek mythology. And it's like, wow, those people were telling the truth. They weren't lying. And also, like, being a Christian, people always said, "Oh, God's not real. You believe in an invisible God." Whatever. People would roll their eyes, but after seeing Bigfoot, it's like, man, everyone said Bigfoot was fake. There it is. Like, I saw it. It's real. So that means God is real. Like, all these stories about God, they have to be real.
But the weird uh, critters that we may not see on a regular basis today show up in the native artwork. So how do you explain that? Pretty accurately depicted too. So
Yeah.
what? It's well, okay. Isn't that an example of uh, one of God's creations? We just don't understand it why it might be in this area when their habitat has changed farther to the south.
Hmm.
But how
Oh yeah.
did they accurately uh, portray that animal um, on a rock outcropping?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of drawings on or like on rock walls, and you
Yeah.
see. I don't know if you guys have seen the one with like the red eyes, and it kind of looks like it's crying or something. Big hairy Chewbacca looking thing with two little Chewbaccas. It definitely looks like Bigfoot to me.
Sorry, I'm gonna do my Chewbacca on you. I just, when you talk about like, it does make you question faith. It makes you question what you've been taught and what's publicly out there and privately and whatever. My first encounter, I didn't believe it was an encounter because I thought everything was Pacific Northwest. I didn't realize how prevalent Bigfoot is on the East Coast. I mean, all over. A lot
Yeah.
more than on the West Coast. So my first encounter, the head of this Bigfoot, who is easily 9-10 feet, 8 to 10, I would say, because his head was almost 3 feet wide, massive. My little toe, my foot, was no more than 6 inches from its mouth, its nose. It was in my window. That's how close it was. And it was 3 a.m, and it was peeking in. I thought it was a joke at one point. And then like a year later, we had I was friends with Daryl Dawkins, the basketball player, also known as Chocolate Thunder. And he came back to our summer camp. He used to come up all the time. And he came back like, they went to town, they got some food and drinks, and he was a little bit crazy, drunk. And he's a big boy. He's like 7 foot change. And just waking kids up, scaring the shit out of them, like, making, like weird sounds. And the kid's like, oh my God, So when that happened at one point, it was in the same bunk like 2 years later. And I was like, what the F? It triggered that memory. And normally I have a photographic memory, but again, when you're not expecting something to be there, you're not as focused on it. I wish I can go back in time and see it, my 10-year-old self going, that's a Bigfoot. Knock on the window. Want to come in? See what but you don't know. Again, you don't know what they're going to do. Throughout history, Bigfoot have been accused of cannibalism, and they're very versatile too. I mean, they love your pets. How many? I mean, I'm sure you have missing dog posters all over Missouri. They love it. It's food, and they don't care about it. So they love Mark Eddy. I'm gonna send them to your house, Mark. It's cold outside. Send them in.
All right.
I actually, most of the day, just sitting here at the computer, reading the articles or
Playboy for the articles. I'm only reading Playboy for the articles.
So I see deer outside the window, and okay, I'll get some food out for you. Hold on. So this is going.
And Adam.
Yeah, this is going on all day long. Then a little bit before dinner, I see something else moving out of the corner of my eye, and it was a fox. Not a cougar, but just a fox. And
come to Florida, we have cougars.
Yeah, but
we have two-legged cougars in Florida.
But probably the cold brought it out to look for food. But it's like one of those things where this is only the second time really the first time I've seen a fox walking through the yard. The only other time was it was in the tree line, but it's just actually very interesting to see how these kinds of temperatures change behaviors.
Well, that's a good question because I was Stevie who's in here because it was cooler out. I've always said to him like we should really be going out when it's cooler. I mean, they're wearing a fursuit, so you would automatically. I mean, like, do they get used to the heat and the humidity and whatever, or like when it's like really cool out, they're like, oh, thank God, and they go out and they go hunting more so because it's cooler. And I think that would be a great time to hunt. I would assume that it can get pretty warm out in the Midwest. So I would assume those in between the extreme warm and the extreme cold, that's probably a good window for your you going out. I mean, is there any correlation to that? Like, could you say, yeah, that would be probably a better time, or?
I would say both the summer and the winter time are good times. During the summer, when it gets super hot, it gets extremely humid, and the rattlesnakes, the copperheads, the cottonmouths are out. Every single spider species is out. There's a spider web on every limb, ants, ticks, mosquitoes, thorn bushes, poison ivy. No one is camping out in the woods. They'll camp on the river, right there on the edge of the river, but nobody's camping in the deep woods. Like, I don't even like to camp. Like, it's too risky. You want to get Lyme disease, you want to get bit by a rattlesnake.
Nope.
It's pretty dangerous. But my encounters, like when I actually saw them during the day, they were in the summertime. But like you said, in the wintertime, after the deer season ends, nobody goes out there. The temperature just drops. Nobody wants to be camping out there. Maybe if somebody's like extremely into the outdoors, camping, hiking, hunting, fishing, maybe, but most people not.
Yeah, I was thinking that I went to an RV show down here, and they have this 4x4 RV that's really cool that would like make it through some of those trails. And that would be a pretty cool thing to camp in, where you can set it up, and then I'd do like a 360 thermal type of thing that just keeps spinning and rotating or whatever, or detecting. But yeah, no, I'm not going out where there's hate the ticks and I hate all this other crap that you have to go through, and definitely don't want rattlesnakes and hunting season.
It's like, brutal. Both seasons have their perks, their pros and cons. Yeah. And
I mean,
I definitely like the winter. Less ticks.
Yeah, less ticks and less deadly items out in the woods. But cool. So
do you want me to talk about the juvenile encounter before we end the show? Because I feel like it's important to share. Okay, so after I saw
go for that, and then we'll end it, and we'll give you, let you go tell everybody where you're going to be, and then you can go off and have a good time.
Okay. Yeah, so after I encountered that jet black Sasquatch with the white stripes, I couldn't shake the feeling like, holy crap, Bigfoot's out there. Part of my brain wanted to say, you didn't see that. And another part was like, the part that makes me said, yeah, you did. That really happened. But for some reason, there is this voice in my head, kind of like the angel and the devil saying, you didn't see it. Yes, you did. Like, there was an argument going on there. But I knew I'd seen Bigfoot. It's just, that shouldn't exist. So I was wrestling with those feelings and those thoughts and feelings. I went out there 3 weeks after I had that encounter in July, and I developed a method on how to sneak up on these creatures. And at the time, I didn't know I was developing a method, but basically I would sneak around the area, and I would do it a certain way with certain patterns, certain schedules. And this day I was out there, I was kind of ticked off. Me and my ex-girlfriend completely broke it off. I was like, screw that girl, whatever. But I was out there, and I was at the top of the driveway where I heard those whistles, and I seen those orbs that I told you guys about. And this is the middle of the day. When I seen the jet black Sasquatch with the white stripes, that was 11 a.m. in the day, right around there. So I'm at the top of the driveway and I'm sneaking through there, and it's about 2 or 3 p.m. in July. And I'm walking back towards the house, and on this side of this huge driveway, like part of it's gravel, the other part's paved. I was walking down it, sneaking down the driveway, and I stepped on a piece of gravel on the pavement, and it went, made like a skidding sound. And when I looked up, I saw this jet black creature on all fours running like a chimpanzee through the Missouri forest. And
Jeez.
my brain initially said turkeys, like it's a group of turkeys running through the woods, or maybe it's hogs, maybe it's a black bear. Like all these thoughts are going through my head. And it hid behind a tree, and it slowly hid behind a tree. And I knew right then and there, like I was looking at something strange, because I'd seen that same movement years ago. Well, a year ago before that, off the Merrimack River, this jet black creature slowly hid behind the tree like that. And this little juvenile did the same thing. He slowly hid behind the tree. And I thought, man, I missed it again. Like there's that same thing that I'd seen before. And as soon as I think that, this little juvenile pops out from the side of the tree, and he's looking, quartering away from me. And I'm standing there watching him. He has no idea that I'm there. He thought he heard something, but he wasn't sure what it was. But he's staring off, quartering away from where I'm at. And he's got these big eyes, big round eyes, completely different structure than the Sasquatch that I'd seen 3 weeks before that. And the eyes are about the diameter of a Coke can. They're glossy white like a light bulb. And you can see these little black pupils in the middle of like the big white eyes. And he's like the cutest little thing I've ever seen. He's covered in fur, just like a black bear, a beautiful coat of fur, jet black. And his head, he's got this huge conical shaped head. Like I don't know how to describe that or how to explain it. It's similar to the skulls that were found in Peru, very elongated, but this came to like a point at the top, kind of like a
Conical?
KKK member. Yeah, like a conical shaped head. But his head, like from the brow ridge up, I kid you not, it was like 1.5 feet above the brow ridge, like huge conical shaped head. Never heard anyone else mention this same feature, which blows my mind. But he had long, thin lips. You couldn't see the nose because his whole face was covered in hair. Like it was this jet black hair that was the same length all the way from like his face, from his head, all the way down through his body. And like I said, long, thin lips. You could see 2 canines that came down from the top lip and rested on the bottom lip, and they're dental white, like a German Shepherd, like super white, almost like he brushed his teeth with like 3D whitening toothpaste. And he was built like a beer keg, almost like a mini refrigerator. And he was very robust. Like he just stood there and he turned and looked at me, and when he saw me, his eyes like bulged open, like he just saw the devil. Like, oh my God, I'm looking at a human. Like he developed PTSD in that moment from seeing a human being. And like it's almost like he went from like this super calm, I thought I heard something but I didn't, to like, oh shit, like a human. And he got real serious, and he like dipped down like that behind the tree. I don't know, like this is the tree, this is the Sasquatch. He dipped down like that. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
And once he went behind the tree, he disappeared. Like I didn't hear him run off. He never came out the other side. I was kind of looking left and right of the tree. Like when you see a deer run off, like you can hear, like you can see it running off. This thing, once he went behind the tree, it's like he disappeared. Like he went into another dimension, or maybe he like spider crawled and like didn't make a sound. Like I don't know, I have no idea, but he disappeared. It was like some sort of Houdini move. Like it was like magic.
Well, I mean, I think they're warned about how humans can be really bad and dangerous at a young age, and
he got caught.
You were everything like, oh shit, they can see me type of thing. And he didn't know what to do. And, but I've never, I mean, like that, the size of the head you're describing is totally different than anything I've ever.
Yeah.
After
that, I started the channel and I started interviewing people, and I thought, someone's going to mention the same exact creature. I've never heard anyone say like this Sasquatch had a super elongated head. Everybody says it came to a point at the top, like a crest, kind of like a cardinal or a blue jay.
Dude. Yeah, no, that's something. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it's a defect.
It could have been.
And
maybe he was growing into it. I don't know, but it was definitely strange. And I got the feeling like when he was turned to the side and I was scanning that elongated head, it was similar to when you're in the big city, like when I'm in St. Louis City or you've been to New York, like when you look at a skyscraper and your eyes have to scan it because it's so big. Like that's how it was. Like it's this really strange feeling. I can't describe it really with words.
Yeah, I grew up in New York City, so like we're used to seeing the skyscrapers, but I've always had friends come in and they've never, like, especially over different countries, and they just like kind of look up like a little kid. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing you do if a Bigfoot just step out from behind a tree, you just keep looking and it keeps going and going and going. You know, I remember we picked up. Again, he's not Bigfoot, but he was like 7 foot and change. And when Dawkins came, we picked him up at Bradley International Airport. I was there with my dad, and he wanted to get something to eat. So he got out of this car that they sent us with, and he did this stretch, and it looked like he was going to take the sun and pull it down. You know, he's so massive. I've met Shaq. Shaq is like, they're bigger than Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal is a big, big boy. And they're wider. I wish everybody could see one so they understand that this is not a joke and this is not fantasy. And then maybe they'd have a respect for it. But once you're super close to these things, it's kind of hard to describe. I mean, everybody always asks, why do you keep looking for it? Because I'm sure, you know, you have questions. I've got questions. Mark always has questions. Every researcher I know has questions on it. I'll tell you the truth. I'd like to go out there because I want to go to somebody's property. It's in there. I want to go to Adam and Shelby's, you know, I want to go over there because that's insane. There's no way you have that many fires without something shit going on, you know? And then on top of that, just prior to that, you know, they sent me some evidence and that the audio at night, the chatter, I'm like, where was this? It's outside Shelby's house. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to go into the woods at this point. You just have a fucking campfire right outside your back door. You got Bigfoot galore. I mean, I would be figuring out. I told it to a buddy of mine. I said, you know what you need to do? Go get those solar panels, hook them up to like a Ring camera, night vision camera, and just have them run from the top roof. They're not going to be expecting it. And you'll catch shit in your backyard.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
for sure.
But Miguel, I can't thank you enough for coming back, you know, coming on the show and being here. We're going to ask you back whether you can do it or not. I know one of the things he said in that Christmas episode is like, well, all these people have started asking me about doing these interviews and I want to get in the field and whatever. But I'm glad the snow kind of happened so I can kind of pull you away for a minute. But I, you know, again, pleasure, absolute pleasure knowing you and meeting you. Rock solid, support your work. So where can everybody, if people want to get in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you and find your latest stuff?
The best place is SasquatchTheory@outlook.com by email. That would totally be the best place. I rarely check Facebook and Instagram, and I just try to keep up with the comments and the emails.
Yeah, that's really great. That's why I was worried. That's why I enlisted the help of brothers. Thank you, Adam. Because I did text you, and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to see it or pay attention. Like, who the hell do I know in this area? I don't know anybody here. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, can you just tell him to check his shit? Because you're doing things, and I get it. You know. So, but as Paul said, you got to come back to Missouri. I'm trying to come back to Missouri. I really liked Missouri a lot. It was weird. It's a weird state. It's a long state.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much history there. I've discovered as soon as I got into Missouri how effed up Lewis and Clark really are. They are certifiably crazy for what they've done. A lot of props to them. They've even seen Bigfoots in that area.
Oh, yeah.
They've reported it. So, Miguel, thank you again for coming on. I don't want to take any more of your time. If you got to run, you can run. And we want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I can't thank everybody enough. I'm going to hook you up also, Miguel, with my buddy Stevie. I think you guys should just talk. He does a lot of documentaries as well, but it'd be great to get you into the Florida area as well. You can, kind of. I have a theory that they know who you are, and you will be welcomed in a nice way when you go into other areas.
I believe that as well. And I definitely want to go to Florida. Thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate you guys so much. And all the listeners, thank you so much for the donation and everything you guys did.
I know, I appreciate it. Thank you
Take
again.
care, Miguel. Thank you.
Yep.
And
thank you,
feel
Mark.
free if you want
Bryan.
to go and leave, please do. You got it. We'll be in touch, through messaging that you don't check.
I'll check it every now and then.
So we're going to probably, great show. Thank you very much for everybody for coming. Bigfoot Fez, Paranormal Paul, Michelle, Psychic Medium, Free Your Mind. Beth came. We have, the better half of the Wayne and Michelle group. Michelle was here, and they had a great show the other day. But thank you very much for being here, everybody. Mark, it is that time. I'm going to be heading out in a few minutes, and I'm heading up to Alabama, Sweet Home Alabama, which is not that far actually from Missouri, but it's just a tad bit too cold. And please come out to the conference, the Vanish Paracon and premiere. It's going to be fantastic. 100%. I think our next guest is Christopher Mason, and we're doing something different. If we have time, we're going to get guests on at weird days. So we may be doing something on Tuesdays every once in a blue moon. We're trying to do things around the 3:00 time, so we get the UK people that want to come on, and we're going to have some of those people too. So thank you again, Mark, Miguel, everybody. You guys have a blessed night. Stay warm, and be careful when you're Sasquatching.
You, it's always been you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I've seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you. True love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I have seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you, true love is you. Love is you, true love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life matters but you. I love you, I love you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you.